In life, many of us spend our best years running a race that has no finish line. We often believe that if we just work a little harder, sacrifice a little more, and lock away every penny we earn, we will eventually find the security and happiness we crave. We treat our time as if it is infinite, and our money as if it is the only thing that matters. But there is a deep, quiet truth that most people only discover when it is too late. It is the realization that while we are busy saving for a life in the future, we are often forgetting to actually live the one we have right now. This is a story about a young man named Arjun and a conversation with his grandfather that changed the way he looked at every sunrise. Arjun was a bright, hard-working young man who had just landed his first serious job in the city. He came from a humble background, and the fear of being poor again drove him every single day. His life became a cycle of spreadsheets, late nights at the office, and a constant, almost obsessive focus on his bank account. He lived in a tiny, dark apartment, ate the cheapest food possible, and turned down every invitation from his friends. If a cup of coffee cost $5, Arjun saw it as a $5 loss from his future freedom. He was proud of his discipline, but his eyes were always tired, and his spirit felt increasingly heavy. He was building a mountain of gold, but he was standing on it all alone. Every few months, Arjun would visit his grandfather, a man everyone called Dada. Dada lived in a small house by a quiet lake. He didn't have much money, but his home always smelled of fresh bread and wood smoke, and he always seemed to have a smile that reached his eyes. During one visit, Arjun sat on the porch, showing his grandfather a digital graph of his savings on his phone. He boasted about how much he had saved by skipping vacations and working through holidays. He expected his grandfather to be proud, but instead, the old man looked out at the water with a hint of sadness. Dada told him something that felt like a cold splash of water. He looked Arjun in the eye and said that he should stop saving so much. Arjun was confused and even a little frustrated. He felt that his grandfather, being from an older generation, didn't understand the modern world. He thought the old man was being irresponsible. For the next several months, Arjun worked even harder to prove him wrong. He pushed himself until he was physically exhausted. He missed his best friend's wedding to finish a project. He missed his sister's graduation to save on travel costs. But the more money he accumulated, the more anxious he became. He was terrified of losing what he had gained, and the future he was saving for felt like it was moving further and further away. He felt weak, lonely, and deeply unfulfilled, despite the growing numbers in his account. One winter evening, Arjun received a call that his grandfather had fallen ill. He rushed to the lakeside house, his heart heavy with a guilt he couldn't quite name. When he arrived, he found Dada resting in his favorite armchair, looking frail but peaceful. Arjun sat by his feet and confessed how miserable he had become. He told him that he did everything right, he saved every cent, yet he felt like he had nothing. That was when his grandfather reached out and took his hand. He told Arjun that money is just energy, and like all energy, it is meant to flow, not to be stagnant. He explained that when you save money by cutting out joy, you aren't saving wealth, you are actually wasting the only currency that truly matters, which is time. The twist came when Dada asked Arjun to open an old wooden chest in the corner of the room. Arjun expected to find some hidden treasure or old coins. Instead, the chest was filled with hundreds of small handwritten notes and photographs. There were photos of Dada traveling to small villages, notes from people he had helped, and dried flowers from gardens he had visited. Dada revealed that he had spent his life earning just enough to survive, and using the rest to invest in experiences and people. He didn't have a large bank account, but he had a chest full of a life well lived. He told Arjun that the most expensive thing you can own is a regret for the things you didn't do when you had the strength to do them. Arjun realized that he had been so focused on not being poor in terms of money that he had become poor in terms of spirit. He understood that wealth isn't the amount of money you keep, but the quality of the life that money allows you to lead. You should never save money at the cost of your health, your relationships, or your soul. True wisdom lies in knowing when to work hard and when to let the fruits of that work bring light to your world and the worlds of others. It is better to have a modest account and a heart full of memories than a fortune and a heart full of what-ifs. As the sun began to rise over the lake, Arjun felt a
sense of peace he hadn't known in years. He didn't quit his job, but he changed his heart. He started taking those walks in the park. He bought that cup of coffee for an old friend. And he learned that a life lived in fear of the future is not a life lived at all. We must remember that we are here to experience this world, not just to account for it. Money is a tool, a beautiful tool, but it should never be the master of our happiness. If this story made you think about your own journey, please let us know in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts on finding the balance between work and wisdom. If you found this helpful, please like the video and share it with someone who might be working a bit too hard lately. Your support helps us share these lessons with the world. Thank you for listening, and remember to take a moment today to enjoy the life you are working so hard to build.